improvements in power generation and supply. That is what the housing is. Has been partnership with the
Hello there, welcome to Dateline, reaching you from Housing TV Africa. I'm Joy Sumosu. It's always a pleasure to be here. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. It's a popular quote from President John F. Kennedy's 1961 inaugural address. An angle to this quote basically is telling people not to be selfish and to look at what they can do that would benefit others. However, when there is a prolonged and overdue call for job creation and youth unemployment, John F. Kennedy's positively electrifying quote will have no wings to fly. On this insightful discussion, we take a look at one of Nigeria's most pressing challenges, job creation and youth unemployment. As we all know, with a rapidly growing population, the need to create sustainable job opportunities has never been more urgent. Our youth, who make up a significant portion of the population, are brimming with potentials, but many face barriers to realizing their dreams due to limited job opportunities. Today, we aim to explore actionable strategies and foster collaboration between the government and the private sector to tackle this issue head-on. We will delve into critical questions like how policy reform, education, skills development and innovation can pave the way for a brighter future for our young people. After this short break, we'll give you a profiling on our focus. Thereafter, I'll be joined by an expert. Please stay with us.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.
Welcome back. Nigeria has a population of 211.4 million people, out of which the working age population is 53.9%, as defined by the National Bureau of Statistics. The working age population comprises the labor force, those willing and able to work, and those not in the labor force who are unable, unwilling, or not actively seeking to work. Our focus here is on evaluating the Nigerian labor force. With a labor force of 69.7 million Nigerians, it is alarming that the current unemployment rate in Nigeria is 33.3%. This means at least 1 in every 3 Nigerians is unemployed. It is important to note that globally, the acceptable level of unemployment is within the range of 4 to 6%. Now, the African Union defines youth as people aged between ages 15 to 35. In Nigeria, the rate of youth unemployment has increased over the years, with the unemployment rate of youth within the ages of 15 to 24 increasing from 21.5% in 2016 to 53.4% in 2020, and the rate for youth aged 25 to 34 increasing from 12.9% in 2016 to 37.2% in 2020. In both age segments, the unemployment rate has at least doubled over 5 years. This poses the question: why has the Nigerian youth unemployment rate risen rapidly over the past years? The answer to this can be traced to the following factors: the COVID-19 pandemic, the country's overdependence on crude oil, which accounts for 87% of its export earnings, and the imbalance between the demand and supply for jobs in the country. As we examine the current state of youth unemployment in Nigeria, questions that also come to mind are: what are the key factors driving this challenge, and where do we see opportunities for impactful change? What lessons can Nigeria learn from other countries that have successfully tackled unemployment? After this break, I'll be joined by my guest, a prolific businessman, Chalky Pius. He's on standby to help steer the conversation towards identifying actionable and collaborative solutions. Please stay tuned. Taking us further as we talk, job creation and youth unemployment is a prolific businessman, like I said earlier, Chalky Pius. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
How's it been being a businessman in Nigeria? We're talking job creation.
Well, being a businessman is a game of survivor. You just have to make up your mind to survive. Or else you pack your load and go to the village.
I go to the village, and even when you get to the village, you still need a thriving mindset, you know, to keep the ball rolling. All right, sir. So let's quickly get into the first question. What would you say are the primary factors contributing to the high rate of youth unemployment in Nigeria?
I think the primary factor is, number one, the nature of education. The nature of education in Nigeria does not prepare a lot of the youth for the job market. That is a major factor. Inappropriate education. And of course, you have a lot of youth that like education, especially from the northern part of the country, because the type of education they acquire is mostly Arabic religious education. And so they can't even speak English. They are cut off. And so many of them, you see that they end up selling kola nut and all those sugar cane and all that. They are not prepared for.
So culture has a major role to play as well, and social perception.
Yeah, cultural issue.
All right. So that means the education system in Nigeria is not preparing our youth for the job market, based on what you've just said.
A lot of the youths. Today, if you look at the nature of the economy, world economy, not just Nigeria, because if you are talking of preparing the youth for job market, you should not be thinking of Nigeria. You should be thinking of preparing the youth for the world economy, because there are thousands or millions of jobs that our youth can actually be engaged in while they are in Nigeria.
Remotely. Overseas,
remotely. Presently, my niece and my nephew, that is what they have been doing. One is a medical doctor. She's not practicing medicine. And then she's relocated to Canada now. The employer does not even know where she is. Why? She was in Nigeria. They didn't know she was in Nigeria. Now she's in Canada. She's still keeping her job, and she has earned more. All that is remotely. So if you want to prepare our youth for the employment market, we need to prepare them for the world employment market,
yes,
not
which
Nigeria.
Is a digital economy.
Yes, not Nigeria, because there are a lot of opportunities, millions of it, and the Indians have actually taken advantage of that. Indians and what do you call them? Just the Asians, they are doing better than far better than Nigeria. So that is key.
Okay, so are there specific industries in Nigeria with the most potential for job creation?
Sure. Without that, ICT, information technology, is the number one. Why? Because it is not just preparing the youth for the local market, but for the international global market. So it's a key driver. And you know, I'm happy that you know, with the current president and the minister for information, Bosun, they have a target to train about 3 million youth for ICT and innovation. And I can tell you that it's a game changer if the government can actually implement this successfully.
So while the ICT may be taking the lead, you know, some years back before the COVID-19 pandemic, I used to say with a friend then that, you know, the world should just be on the lookout for three major professions. Of course, first, the ICT, agriculture, and entertainment.
Thank you.
Because, you know,
Now,
look at the world
agriculture.
of people making skits and all of that.
Agriculture, you know, as at today, agriculture is still the major employer of labor in Nigeria. But then, we are still underperforming because it's the primary aspect of agriculture that we are focused on. There is what we call agribusiness.
Okay.
That is even the potential in agribusiness is more than the primary aspect of agriculture. We have not exploited that. So, and that is where we need to train our youth. And it's also part of the educational system that we have. That is just straight jacket education. Somebody go to the university and reading accounting and reading marketing, economics. I read economics. But that does not prepare them for the market. There is a university, I think, in that's Satan Kogi or around Kwara. It's a private university. What they are doing is fantastic. No matter the course you are reading, every student is they are being trained in agriculture. Everything they eat is produced by them. All their furniture is produced by the school. The students are involved. Electrical students are used in electrical projects and all that. So at the end of the day, you can be a medical doctor, but you have knowledge of agriculture. These are things that, by the time that student comes out, he may end up not using his original certificate when it comes to employment or engagement, productive activity.
So we'll still have quite a couple of questions to tackle. But before we go on this break, let's look at how technology and innovation, so we're talking about technology and the digital economy, how we should brace up to what is obtainable on the global scale of things. So how can technology and innovation from private companies help bridge the unemployment gap?
Well, that is neither here or there, because some people sometimes they are afraid that the more technology you deploy, the less people you engage. There are people that are of that opinion, but the truth is that technology requires a lot of human resources in the background. Just like this studio now, maybe some people, the viewers will only be seeing you, but the backup staffs, you may be surprised that they are up to 5, 6, 7. That is how technology works. Technology requires a lot of experts that can synchronize the system. So the more companies are key into technology, the more experts they will need. They need software engineer, they need hardware engineer, they need people that write programs and all that for their company. So technology, it drives employment, not the other way around like many people actually think.
All right. So let's take this break. Dear viewer, we hope you stay with us as we have been X-raying job creation and unemployment in Nigeria. There's still a lot to talk about. Recall that my guest started out by stating the primary factor as, you know, a wrong educational background that has lasted for too long. Maybe we may be looking out for some educational reforms. Join us after this break. Please stay with us.
Get credible and authentic housing news at your fingertips by downloading the Housing TV mobile app. You can also join the African International Housing Show live from across the globe through the Housing TV mobile app. The mobile app features live streaming and trending housing news. You can locate the AIHS venue via the app, network with AIHS seasoned speakers, and live chat with exhibitors. You can also order house or building materials at AIHS via this app. Download the Housing TV mobile app now from the App Store and Google Play Store. And don't forget to click on the notification button. Available for both iOS and Android users. Housing TV is also on Star Times, channel 149 decoder.
Welcome back to Dateline. Now, moving on, sir, what reforms are needed in Nigeria's educational system to equip youth with skills relevant to the job market?
Okay, just like I said before, the university system needs to develop a program that will make the youth to be able to learn various skills.
And also think outside the box.
Yes, various skills. Think outside the box. Like Nigerian schools now, they have a program, the secondary school. Apart from their normal subjects, they have other things they wanted to do, to learn a craft, coding and all that. And then they give them a choice, tailoring.
Grade school?
Yes, secondary school, yeah.
Okay, secondary school, okay.
They ask them, choose what you want to learn for the term. And whatever you choose, after the school hour, the next 1 hour, that is what they are going to be. Everybody goes to those places, to their workshop, to go and learn those stuff. You know? So, beside the regular subject, they are learning something. You know? It's key. We have a lot of graduates today that maybe they were banking, but they are into fashion. They are designers. Some of them, maybe they pick it up from their parents. But it's not everybody that has such opportunity. So the schools should be deliberate in making students to learn one skill or the other.
So that means we'll probably be looking at a future partnership amongst three sectors: the educational sector, schools,
yes,
you know, industries, and the government.
Yes, yes, certainly. Because there are some skills that the schools may have to attach the students to a private organization that can handle it more professionally for the students. So that as the students are passing out, they have a better view of life, and they will have an idea. Many of them may decide to pursue some of those skills that they have learned as their life business, other than the normal certificate that they acquired.
Now, as a businessman, I know there's a lot we can learn from you. Now, I'd like you to talk about the biggest barriers to starting and growing a business in Nigeria. Biggest barriers to starting and growing a business from experience.
Okay, I think the biggest barrier is more of institutional barrier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, institutional barrier. You know, number one, you need to register a business or incorporate your business. That is pretty okay. But after that, if you are going to, as a young business, if you are going to do business with government, even with international organization, the requirements are so many. You have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have this, different certificates and all that. And it requires money. Or sometimes the CAC expect you to submit your audited account. You need an auditor. You have to pay the auditor. These are institutional barriers. And then, for example, some of the requirements they need for you to do business with government, like Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, you need to get their certification. You have to pay. And then there's a minimum number of staff you are expected to have. So even if you don't have those number of staff, you have to pay for the number of staff to get that certificate. So it's a disincentive for businesses, especially young business. That is why a lot of business died at their formative stage, because the requirements are too many. And if you don't have those requirements, you cannot compete. You know? And then before you now have various taxes. You know, like I said, the tax reform. That is why the president, they want to collapse the taxes so that it will not be more than maybe 8, 7, 9 taxes. Before you have more than up to 60 various form of taxes. You are in the office, somebody just walk into your office, show you flash an ID card, and say, I am from so, you have not paid for this. And some of them, they will be threatening you. So all these things are a disincentive to businesses.
Okay, so are there successful examples of youth-led businesses that we can learn from, or that could be replicated?
Nationally, I may not be able to point at one, but for example, the owner of Facebook is a young guy. We all know.
But he's not a Nigerian.
Yes, no, I'm just saying it. There are a lot of young people that are doing well, that are surviving, starting businesses and all that. So you have some businesses that Nigeria youth has successfully started, and those who are successful many times is as a result of the trust and support by friends, family, especially with the financial requirement that make them to pull through. Thank you.
So finally, we look at emerging industries in Nigeria. What emerging industries in Nigeria could offer significant employment opportunities in the next decade? Okay.
Talking about emerging industry, ICT is still at its infant stage as far as Nigeria is concerned. There is still so much on tap. That's one. Then number two, it's unfortunate, oil and gas. It has been there for decades, but Nigeria has not taken advantage of its potential. Dangote the refinery just commenced operation. Nigeria were celebrating. Well, even though the price did not favor us, but if you think about the thousands of jobs that refinery provides, direct and indirect, you know the potential in the oil and gas. Nigeria is supposed to have multiple refineries and we flood Africa with refined products. Not just the world. Just take advantage of Africa. And this is a natural resource we have. But we are not taking advantage of it. It is, in fact, like you said in the beginning, our major forex is from the petroleum industry exports. But that is the crude. If you know the multiple byproduct from that you can get from refineries, some of the things we import today, petrochemical products, if we have fortunate refinery, we don't need to import them. It is safer for exchange. So we have not taken advantage of that. We cannot wish it away. We have not, our agricultural sector or industry is still at infancy level. Most of the farming method is still drudgery. And that is why, especially the youth, I don't want to get involved. Because you have to walk your back.
But so, you usually tilt towards the entertainment part.
Yeah, entertainment is an emerging industry, but it has its own landmines, dangers, and we should be careful. It's just like entertainment. Football is part of entertainment, for example. I know a lot of youths that they have wasted their life because I want to be a footballer. They just focus, I want to be a footballer. But they don't have anybody to sponsor them. Even locally, they cannot get a club. They are getting old. And before you know, time passes. The same thing with music. Music is about talent. If you don't have it, even if you go to music school, there is no guarantee that you will be a successful artist. Or the drama industry. This thing has much to do about talent. So it's not an industry that we just give us all the jobs, great jobs. Yes, the potentials are there, but it's not area which will encourage our youth. My son wants to play football, but I tell him, I say, you know what? When you are as a footballer at age 34, 35, your career is over. So what are you going to do with the rest of your life? So now, let's focus. Just do this subject first. If you are going to play football, you can play football. You can even get scholarship when you go abroad. I just try to encourage it so that He will not.
Especially when you know the climes that you're in.
Yeah. Even in Europe, a lot of lives are destroyed. A lot of you go to football academy, they never play football. They never have opportunity to play. Because how many people can play at a time? So if you go and check developed country, what is the percentage this industry contributes to the employment market? Very few. So that is why we should not overemphasize it. Or else, a lot of youth will be misled, thinking that is where my future lies. And once you are age 30, even 26, 25, you are not hit it as a footballer, you are likely not to make it.
It will click.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tawaki Pius, thank you so much for coming on Dateline. Those were quite insightful, all of your suggestions, and you did well in tackling our questions. Thank you. As we wrap up this important conversation, it's clear that addressing youth unemployment in Nigeria requires collective effort. To the government, we urge you to prioritize policies and investments that foster job creation, improve education and support innovation. To the private sector, let's collaborate to create opportunities, invest in skills development and empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. And to every individual out there today, let's not underestimate our power to contribute, whether by mentoring a young person, sharing knowledge or supporting small businesses. Together, we can create a future where our youth are not only employed, but empowered to drive Nigeria's growth and development. Let's take this conversation beyond words and turn ideas into action. The time to act, you would agree with me, is now. Many thanks for watching. Don't forget to download Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. You can download the Housing TV mobile app on Google Play Store and App Store for iOS users. I'm Joyce Owosu. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Improvement in our generational supply. That is also out of it. That will always live.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing development broadcasting.